Good morning, grade 5. It's a windy Friday, and I am going to read to you some more front desk. We're on chapter 24. I rocked back and forth with the ledger in my arms, waiting for Lupe. I called her as soon as the awful security guard left. As her dad's car pulled in, the air howled of a coming storm. We have to go to sneak over there to grab those lists, I said to Lupe. I couldn't wait to rip them to shreds. Lupe shook her head. She plopped down at the front desk. That won't do any good, she said. We'd get caught. And besides, the stories probably already have copies. Lupe helped herself to a blank piece of white paper from the fax machine and started drawing with a pencil. Lupe was always drawing buildings, people, dogs, cats, mountains, and most of all, trees. She loved trees. Will you stop drawing? I all but shouted at her. Lupe put her pencil down and gave me a look. The thing about prejudice is you can't tell people not to be prejudiced. You've got to show them. It's like writing. I thought back to what Mrs. Douglas was always saying. You got to show, not tell. Why can't people tell people, I said. Because they won't listen. It'll go in one ear and out the other, she said. So how do we show them, I asked. She pointed to the ledger still in my arms. Who was here last night, she said. Does it say there? I opened the ledger to the day that the car got stolen and ran my fingers down the list of customers. There were 5 customers who left in the middle of the night. They were Peter Orviati, Rebecca Thompson, Tommy Smith, Javier Roberto, and Loretta Robinson. Next to their names, we copied down all the permanent addresses so that in case they left something, I could mail it back to them. The addresses sprawled as far as San Diego and as far north as Sacramento. Has the police checked on these addresses yet? Lupe said. I shook my head. To my knowledge, they didn't even have them. Well, what are you waiting for? Lupe said. Call them up. The customers? No, the police. My eyes widened. We'd never called the police before, not even on the day that the car got stolen. Mr. Yo had been the one who called. Back in China, I had fond memories of the policemen. We used to call them Uncle, too. They would help the elderly cross the road, and they'd find their way home if they got lost. I'm not even sure if they had guns. We would sing songs in school about them, songs like, if I was walking down the street and I found a penny, I'd give it to Uncle Policeman. Things were different here. Here the policemen had guns, and if you found a penny, I'm pretty sure you keep it. I know my dad and I would. I went over to the drawer under the phone system and retrieved the card Officer Phillips gave us. He was the officer in charge of the case. I picked up the phone, dialed the number, and I handed the receiver to Lupe. You talk, I told her. Lupe pushed the receiver away hard. No, this is your motel. You need to talk, she said. Hesitantly, I put the receiver up to my ear. Officer Phillips picked up on the 4th ring. Hi, Officer Phillips. It's, Mia Tang. I'm calling from the Cala Vista Motel, I said. The what? The Cala Vista. You know, the motel where the car had been stolen the other day? Listen, kid, I've got a lot of work to do, he said. He sounded kind of annoyed to hear from me. I looked at Lupe, who nudged me to continue. I just want to ask you if you've looked into the customers that left early that night. I have all their home addresses here. I can give them to you right now if you like, I said. Why don't you just let us do our job, kid, he said. We already have a strong lead. You mean Hank, I said? He didn't do it. How many times did I have to keep saying this? And by the way, did you know that you guys got him fired from his job? He recently got fired from his job. Officer Phillips' voice perked up. That explains why he needed the money. No, you guys got him fired. His boss saw you guys asking him questions and then he fired him. Now, he doesn't have a job. There was a silence on the other end. I looked over at Lupe. Well, that's unfortunate, he said, but I'm sure there was more to it than that. I shook my head in the phone. No, there wasn't. Look, I really have a lot of work to do, he said. So that's it then? You're just going to give up? You're not even going to look into the addresses? I asked him. We're not giving up. We just have more pressing cases to deal with at the time involving armed robbery. About what? And about Mr. Lorenz? What is he supposed to do? He's fine. I talked to him the other day. Already filed the claim with insurance. He's going to get his money in 30 days. The good thing about the case is nobody got hurt, said Officer Phillip. And with that, he hung up the phone. Yeah, nobody except Hank. I stared at the phone in my hand. I couldn't believe that, Officer Phillips. We have to call his manager, I told Lupe. He must have a manager. Lupe shook her head. It doesn't sound like this is a top priority for them. Well, it should be. You think? What should we do? I looked down at the list of addresses. We can't go to all these places by ourselves. Maybe the car will turn up, Lupe said. Maybe someone will see it and put in a call. Maybe. And that's the end of chapter 4 of Front Desk. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.